Tertial, and I recently started an online petition to install lead filters on all water fountains in JCPS public schools and conduct testing of these filters to make them to get these fountains working again. So I'm here today to inform with you guys about what I've done so far and to share an update as well as get your opinion after I'm done speaking. So I've been attending public schools ever since the first grade. I started off at Mahatma Gandhi School on Duncan Avenue, then I went to PS6 in the Heights, then I went to A1, and now I'm at McNair. And every school that I've been to, all water fountains have been shut off for drinking use because of lead contamination. And in fact, this was the first thing that I learned at PS23, to not drink from the water fountains. So now all public schools in our city have a similar problem with lead contamination, and as a solution, we have water coolers in each of these schools. And so this solution is not environmentally nor economically sustainable because trash cans throughout schools are filled with plastic cups that are not recycled, plastic water bottles, as well as lots of other plastic waste. On top of that, numerous gallons of fuel are consumed daily for transportation of the water jug replacements from Pennsylvania into our city. And on top of that, schools often just run out of drinking water. So for example, I know at McNair this is a very big problem because a lot of days in the summer, there just isn't any water for kids to drink inside the water coolers. And so this makes it very hard for students to focus in school because there's no water, so you're not hydrated, and you have a hard time focusing. On top of that, a lot of instructional time is also wasted because you have to go out floor to floor searching for water. So there really is a massive problem. And so I understand that replacing all the lead pipes is not a good solution, but there are numerous commercially available water filters that you can install onto currently existing fountains that can make them safe to drink. So as a case study, a recent testing done at McNair found that a lot of the water filters, or a lot of the water fountains, have lead that it's just slightly above the safe to consume levels. And so there are filters sold by LK and 3M that can bring that can bring lead within safe to consume levels. And I think that if you install these filters onto McNair's water fountains, it's very likely that they will be able to they'll be potable again. And so these filters only cost $80 and they last for up to 2 years without requiring little to no maintenance. And so in the long run, these filters are a cheaper and greener alternative to constantly refilling water coolers and replacement jugs. And yeah, so I recently had a meeting with Ms. McCabe, who's the principal of McNair, Mr. Wayne, and Dr. Lyles, and there was a pilot study of these filters approved for McNair. And so right now we're waiting for Tectonics, which is the city contractor that deals with water, to give the final go-ahead. But yeah, I just want to share these updates with you guys, and also wanted to ask you what the water situation is like at each of your schools. So for example, I'll start off with Snyder. So do you guys feel that does the water ever run out in your school on certain days in the summer?
Yeah. Every day, so on the first floor, well, we have 3 water coolers, first, second, third, and by like 4th period, it's gone.
By 4th period,
it's like what happens after lunch when you come back and
I'm sorry?
no cups.
There are no cups. Okay. So I know at McNair, for example, like we're not allowed to refill our water bottles. So is that also the case at like Snyder? Or so you're allowed to refill your water bottles after?
Yeah, that's not weird. We found a way to get more water, so we bring our own water bottles, and people bring the gallons and stuff like that. Yeah. So we fill it up and we keep it, because we know that there's not going to be
Okay. So are any of you guys like student athletes at Snyder or a high school in our city? So after, I know, so I play soccer and we often have practice in the school gym. And so after soccer, there's just we had practice at 6 or 7, there just isn't water left. So is that also the case with your sports?
We have our athletic trainer. She has a goal setter that have ice and water and stuff, and all the teams go and get water.
But do you know if her room, so does her room have a certified water source? Because I know at here we also have an athletic trainer, but he has to get the jugs from the custodians and refill the water jugs that we have for practice. But do you know if in your school the athletic trainer has a faucet that works?
For tennis, what we do is we go to the grocery store and buy gallons of water in the cooler, but we get the ice from the
Okay. Any middle schools, Academy 1, can you guys speak a little bit about the water in your school?
Well, I mean, we don't exactly use a fountain. We have the cooler. It just gives us water, but it runs out pretty quickly. There's only one on each floor.
Only one on each floor. Okay, and I think you want to say something now.
So I'm doing in the science fair project on lead in water, and I looked at the water results for Academy 1, and one of the fountains was way
Could you repeat that a bit louder?
I'm doing a science fair project on lead and water, so I looked at the lead water test results. And on the first floor, a water fountain says way above the actual lead.
Okay, that's nice to know.
So I was kind of thinking, and we have about 2 to 3 of those water jugs on each floor. Often, the problems are there's not enough cups, but we can refill stuff, so I like to refill those a lot. But it's after school, it's hard to find like any water. So like a handful of times I've even had to replace those jugs myself, like if they're just sitting next to it, I screwed them on and did that. But the one day, like I went for summer school, but then I went to Girls Who Code instead. But there was no water, like absolutely, it was awful. It's a whole mess, but it's pretty fine during the school year, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm a sophomore at Dickinson, so I know Michael is backing up on this because he's been here long enough. But I can tell you that at Dickinson, there's only 4 water coolers total. They're all spread up around the floor. There's always one on each floor. And there's no water coolers in the new gym. At least not that I know of.
What?
There's one, but I can tell you it's unpredictable with how they're filled. Excuse me. There's students that will, even though we're not told to fill our water bottles, students will fill up their water bottles because if you don't and the water is gone, you're basically done for. It's the issue is there's not enough water, and usually if you're unlucky to find a cup, because if you're on the first floor, you can go to security desk, but if you're anywhere else, it's just too much time, and then you end up being late for your class.
And so something I was trying to get to in my speech is like, so at McNair, like what often happens is like so let's say like if you're like it's like June, right, and like you want some water, so you'll find kids like going through the halls like. It's like a search party of kids trying to find water. But from like floor to floor, like across halls, it's just like, whoa, like what's...
Yeah, that was me my freshman year.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Also mention this is like an issue at like private schools too. I went to the St. Dominic's Academy for freshman year and some sophomore year. We ended up getting the water filter, but still like every school I've ever been to in Jersey City, always lead pipes, always a problem.
For my school, we had 3 working fountains. 2 of them stopped working. They had covered the first one on the first floor. The 2 and the other 2 on the 3rd and 2nd floor, they just don't work. And we have a gallon type
Like a water cooler?
yeah, like a cooler down in the basement with the other only fountain that works, and they don't really allow us to go to every other floor to get water. So if your bottle, like say if you have a bottle, if it runs out, you have to wait either till lunch or till you're in the basement or on the first floor to go downstairs to get water, because that's the only floor that actually has running and working water.
But so there is like a working water fountain. That's
There
safe.
is, but every other floor, there's none. And then after gym, they don't. If we go to class, they sometimes, most of the time, almost all the time, they don't allow us to go get water after gym class or after class or whatever, or after lunch. They won't allow us to go get water.
Any other schools want to? Okay, so one thing that, and maybe with Off-Gauze, one of the big concerns was that even if our schools do get working water fountains, like students will still feel the need to drink from water coolers because they'll feel that these water fountains aren't safe or aren't clean. So how do you guys feel about that? Like if you guys had an option of going to a water fountain or a water cooler, what would you rather do?
Cooler.
Cooler.
I'm sorry? Why?
If I'm doing a cooler, I have to refill myself with a fountain. I don't have it.
Yeah, okay. Sage, why would you choose a cooler? Okay, so I mean, obviously, so our state has a very rigorous procedure before it approves any water fountain for like drinking use by students. So even if after all these fountains went through the procedure and they were all labeled safe, would you guys still feel hesitant, or do you think students in your school would still feel hesitant to drink from these water fountains?
I
feel like people would.
People would be hesitant to drink water.
Yeah.
For so many years.
Because the thing is, water coolers, it's the water, it's like bottled water, so I feel like it's different from stuff coming from a pipe.
And see, what water, like water fountain, when you go to like a theme park and stuff with water, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Water fountain, but when you're hesitant to drink that because you know how other people touch it, how sanitary it would be. So unless if people come by clean it daily, you really don't want to drink that.
Okay, wait, I think we had a hand in the back. Yeah.
Yes, we're at MS4, and after water, it's for the water fountains. A lot of our students still drink from it. Our teachers encourage us not to drink from it, and after gym, they don't provide them with water coolers, so we can't really drink water after we bring our own water. And sometimes students forget their water, or they don't have enough, and they wanna drink, but they're forced to drink from the water fountain.
But so are these water fountains like? Do you know if they're safe? Are they like? So are they open? Can you?
Yeah, we can drink from them,
Mhm.
but our teachers encourage us not to because they kind of taste weird. And one of the students I remember in 7th grade before when I was there, they took a water bottle and they put the water in it, and at a point once it wasn't a white, like it wasn't a clear color.
Okay, that's yeah.
Concerning.
Wait. Yeah. Wait, can you speak a bit louder? I'm sorry.
Even sometimes over the fountains, like there's like signs that say don't drink from this water because
Yeah.
it's very dirty and kids like will spill other stuff in it. And literally last week we had an evacuation drill because our water in the school like fully shut down. We had no water at all in the school.
Okay, so one thing that I think that I heard was the spout not being clean. Like, right? Would you guys say that's a reasonable concern with water fountains? So what if custodians were to like add it to their schedule so every day they would clean these things like twice a day or thrice a day? Would that lessen the hesitation from drinking from these water fountains? No. I'm sorry.
I feel like since it's become like such a routine for us to go and get water for like 4 years, we've been doing that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I personally would still be hesitant because I know, like, oh, there's blood inside of it. Even though they say it's clean, I personally wouldn't want to do it. Like, I could see the water coming out of the jug, so it's like easier for me to like think about it.
Okay, but so let's say on a day where like there's there's just no water in the coolers, would you still not drink from the water fountains, even if they were tested clean and like certified and everything? You still would be hesitant to drink from the water fountains?
Yeah, I will wait till lunch. Probably.
You'd wait till lunch.
Yeah, I would need a lot.
Yeah.
Really, if you present no opportunity, so you remove the water jugs and you put a sticker on the water fountain that says potable, I mean, yeah, if you remove the option and it's hot enough, someone's going to drink the water, again, it's probably safe at that point, but I feel like the hesitation is somewhat justified. Again, because at Liberty, we don't really have that much of a problem to begin with. I mean, I'll get in the building 6:45 and I'll carry waters to each floor. And
Wait. So, like, are you the person that's in charge of bringing the?
I'm not in charge of it, but I show up and I volunteer my service and I carry the waters. But
Okay.
if I didn't, our custodian would. And so we carry the waters and we recycle all our plastic cups. And at the end of every month,
Wait, I'm sorry. How does your school recycle? Because from my knowledge, I
well, we
think
do.
They
we
dump
do-
everything
Yeah, they
the
dump
same.
everything in
They
the
dump
same
everything
thing
the
at the
same
end of the
day.
day.
So, like,
At ours,
the
we
blue
have
trash cans?
a blue trash can that's sort of intended for the cups that we put next to the water cooler. So when you use the cup, you can throw it straight into the recycling bin and take it out.
I think I could be wrong, but those from
don't
my
mean anything.
experience, they end up in the same place as the
Yeah.
Well, this is my follow-up to that is when we take it, because I help him as well,
okay, yeah.
move the trash and dumpsters. We don't actually have a dumpster anymore because district's not paying for our dumpster. So we have to take, we don't have a dumpster, so all of that we have to handle manually. So
Okay.
we do know that it is going to the recycling plants versus to a.
Just if I could just make a quick point on that. Guys, my name's Musab. I'm one of the board members that serve on the Board of Education. So just a quick point on the recycling. So the reason the recycling bins exist, so in the past, we used to have recycling. For a time, we stopped recycling. I don't know why. But recently, now the city picks up all our trash and the city does provide recycling services. So ever since the beginning of this year, the city's been maintaining all of that. And so when you do recycle now, that is actually recycled, just to put it out there. We're gonna be trying to push a new recycling program into schools to like reinforce recycling because it's just been so long. But just to that point, we do we do recycle.
So I've got further related to the only thing. But yeah, if you remove the option, then yeah, I'm sure students will drink the water, but I don't know if a student would be inherently comfortable with it. And of course, if you give it enough time, a student might enter the cycle of the public schools without having known of the lead problems to begin with, and then alleviating more stress and then over an extended period of time alleviating more. But ultimately, I feel like drinking a bottle of water from a sterile, not sterile, but from a clean receptacle is the safest option, even if a clean fountain is available.
Okay, so wait, a better question is, okay, what certification or what testing would you guys want to see before you feel like safe? Like, what would it take for you guys to not be hesitant to drink from a water fountain? I'm gonna go over it for a second. Yeah.
I just want to go back to the previous question. So I feel like there's still going to be reluctance after, even if they were to make a change. Excuse me?
How do we get rid of that reluctance? Like, what would it take to?
Well, I feel like we wouldn't be able to. I feel like at that point it's just about the students' decisions on whether they decide to drink the water or not, and whatever happens to them, I guess over time, then we'll see. But like, it's pretty much tap water, right? So I feel like who's to say that the pH balance is right? Like, it's better for. Who's to say that it's gonna be like clean water? So it's like pretty much healthier for students to actually be drinking the water from the cooler instead. So it's like, why even try to make a change after all this time has gone by and it's still not gonna be the healthiest water?
Okay, so here's a quick little tip. So, okay, do you know that the water coolers that we have in all the schools, they get refilled by this one company? It's all this company has access to the world's most purest water. That company fills the bottle up with something with tap water. So how is that how is that different than having tap water from this filter that's certified, it's commercially available, and it's tested to be clean? I'm gonna go in the back just so I get more pieces. Yeah.
It's not much of a difference, but what we find is a difference is that in the coolers that we can actually see the water that we're drinking, but through the fountain we really can't. We just drink it and then it's not even that good. It doesn't taste good at all. But through the cooler, since we see what we're drinking, we're kind of more confident in what it is.
Oh yeah, a couple more in the back. Yeah.
Also, to add on to what she was saying, for the coolers, it's basically also that we feel safer to drink from the coolers because we have practically been drinking from the coolers our entire life if nothing has happened. And also, it's the fact that even our teachers sometimes tell us not to drink in the fountains that raises a concern to us. And even if it was fixed, some students will still have the concern of it. Oh, what if it's still there? What if it doesn't have the pH balance? What if it's not clean enough for us to drink it?
Okay. So I think to use my remaining time efficiently, a question that I have for you guys is, okay, so let's say if we were to have these filters in schools citywide, how would you guys feel? How would you guys like to pioneer these, like to get students at your school to change their mind? Like, how would you guys feel about being student leaders in that sense and like leading a water fountain initiative at your school? Any comments on that? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just researched something I was thinking of. There's a brand called LK.
Yeah,
They
no,
make-
LK is dope.
Yeah, they make one where you put your bottle up,
Yep.
it fills. I was saying that would be better because if kids are more scared of the fountain tip, that would be like cleaning and everything.
Those fountains, they cost about $1,000,
Yeah.
and they have the same exact filter that we could buy separately for $80 and install into the currently existing fountains. So sure, it does look more safer, but
Yeah.
it's the same technology. It's the same water coming out of the wall that you're putting through this filter that you drink out of the spout. It's not like, but I do see. Okay, yeah. So you think if we had new fountains entirely, there would be a better way of doing it?
Yeah, I think they would lessen the hesitation from kids, but I also think it should be tried out in only certain schools to see how that goes, and then branch it out.
You know, so that's why we'll hopefully get a pilot done at McNair and then see, like, get surveys of students and see, like, how do people actually use these filters before we try to do it citywide. But, yeah, do you have a hand or? No, okay, yeah.
I was gonna say, even if we put the filter in, the fountains are so old, like what you said, they haven't been, like, used in so long that it's gonna be, like, wow, like we're really thinking on this. And yeah, I would,
So, but what if citywide we try to inform students that no, these fountains, okay, our state has like a 100-page document about how we test this water, and that document is very, very thorough. So how do you think we could go about educating students? Like we could have teachers also get involved and tell our kids to drink from the water. What do you think we could do as students to change this mindset? Ms. Siegel?
Would it be possible to push the results of the test directly above the fountain? Every time.
In the back, yeah.
But Snyder does need to present.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, so also I'll be in the back, so if you guys want to talk to me personally or share your information with me so we can try to coordinate a citywide effort, please feel free to do so. And yeah, thank you.